I'm
Hey,
alive!
hey, you'll disrespect me in my own town. You come and ask me on the day of my daughter's wedding. You ask me
Uh,
the following question. You ask me to help you with your total depravity. You ask me to choose you out of all people unconditionally. You know that your atonement is well limited, right? Anyways, I'm going to offer you some grace that you can't refuse because it's irresistible, so that you may persevere like a saint. So, what do the Arminian family want from the Calvinoso family? It seems the Arminians have been learned to be quiet these days.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't quite interpret your accent.
Uh, all right, let me speak that English. Hello.
I think Timothy is giving us some feedback.
Oh,
Timothy, mute me, so we don't get feedback. If you can, put some headphones on.
Please mute it when
oh,
you speak and don't speak. Like, mute on and off.
oh, that's what meant by feedback. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyways, so who of you two is the leader of the Arminian family?
I mean, I wouldn't say leader, but I would speak up first. Now, where do you want me to begin at? What was your objection? Was it irresistible grace? There was a lot of things you said there. Um,
My question is, what is it that you want from me on the day of my daughter's wedding? Because I'm a very busy man. I just told Jimmy to find more of Jacqueline Glenn's plagiarism. So far, he's coming up with a lot of stuff.
well, that's an off-the-wall question according to our topic.
Mm,
I don't think I want anything from your daughter.
Good, because she's gonna stay single. I don't even know why we're having a wedding in the first place.
I suppose. I guess you're gonna have to deal with that. I guess it's God's will, huh?
It is God's will.
Can I
So,
probably suggest a starting point then?
who are you?
Um, just inquire.
Oh, okay, we've been looking for
Heathen.
you. Well, we've been looking for the choir. He was supposed to sing "Happy Birthday" to my daughter.
Oh, okay. Um, usually the first difference between people, the Calvinist, more Arminian persuasion, is
hmm
that while Calvinists um, accept that humans are totally depraved and unable to be saved except by the grace of God, Arminians have another position, which is even though we are indeed totally depraved, everyone is given enough grace that they have enough free will to choose between whether or not they want to follow God. Um, do you think, such, for the Calvinists, do you guys think that such a view recognizes the depravity within man, or do you think it doesn't go far enough, and how come?
Well, I will let Jimmy answer this one.
Oh, well, okay. So as a Calvinist, I would say I don't think that it has a biblical view of man's depravity, because the Bible seems to describe man as being a citizen of the kingdom of the air, apart from the citizenship in the kingdom of God. And so to talk about uh, grace apart from the effectual grace that is described in the Bible concerning salvation, I think is kind of like trying to describe a square without four sides. To me, to the Calvinist point of view, the grace that is not saving grace is common grace, not the prevenient grace of Arminianism.
All right.
All right.
Does that answer your question, choir boy?
Uh, yeah, sure. Okay.
We're talking about grace here?
Um, what's called prevenient grace. Arminians hold that while man is totally depraved, God provides what's called prevenient grace, so that man can choose whether or not they want to serve God or remain
Okay,
in their sin.
so for layman's English, what he's talking about is resistible grace. That actually, we believe that grace could possibly be resisted, meaning that God's grace and free will is offered without merit. There's nothing that we can do that earns that grace. But we also believe that we have to pick that gift of grace up off the table, that God isn't impolite. He's not pushing our door down and busting us down and dragging us to heaven, that we actually have to pick up that offer. And so that's not necessarily a work of our good deeds or anything like that, or something that we could be egotistical about, but that we actually believe that if we are to be saved, that we actually have to pick up God's offer of grace, and so we would call that resistible grace.
Hmm.
And I just chased Jimmy or Max out of the room, but he's using pretty rough terms for people that don't know what we're talking about.
We didn't kick him out or chase him out. He had to use the restroom.
Oh, okay.
It's normal in people like them. I know he's Catholic, so they always have to go to the restroom during long periods of the Mass. So, Miss Speckle, is it?
Yes,
Are you the Dawn of the Arminian family?
I wouldn't think so, but there seems to be not very many Armenians left, so I guess sort of.
All right, I'll take that as a yes. So, would this thing of that the Arminians take be considered synergism?
I don't know about that.
All right, how would it be? What would you classify it as?
We're talking about grace still?
Ah,
Can I explain synergism?
sure thing.
Well, I mean, the way I see synergism is just a play, just a working together, literally. Synchronize, it's like a synchronization, or I'm not saying the word right, it's not articulating out my tongue, but just basically working together as an operation. That's how God set it up. Of course, He initiates by creating the world and also creating the rules and creating the power to choose back. And He reacts, and then we react, and He counter-reacts. And so basically comes out as synergy, where God chooses us, we have to choose Him back, and then there's just a constant flow of us working together, or considered like co-workers with God in some sense.
And that makes sense to me, and that would be under the Methodist doctrine. But when you say synergism, sometimes people take it in a different direction. So I'm trying to figure out what he meant, but that makes sense. Yeah, that would be aligned with a lot of what Methodists believe in, really a lot of what Roman Catholics believe in, a lot about what I think even Wesleyans kind of uphold that idea.
All right. Jimmy,
Can I?
yes, I was
Yeah,
about
can
to
I
ask you if
respond to
you
that?
wanted to. Yes, go ahead. Because you've been quiet for a while, and I worry about that whenever you're quiet. I don't know what to do back there. You may be eating all the cannolis.
That's the sausage, man. Yeah.
The
So,
sausage.
yeah. I guess for the Calvinists, my understanding is there's monergism and there's synergism. Monergism is saying God's part to play in salvation is precedent, and that means that His will is not only efficient but sufficient to cause one's salvation, so that people are not contingent upon themselves to receive salvation. Salvation is not contingent upon any merit or act of the creature, but is merely contingent upon the act of the Creator. And I would say an example of that might be Romans 3, where Paul actually compares the regeneration of the believer to the creation account ex nihilo. Paul compares the creation of the world to the creation of the believer, which would lead, I think, the reader to think that there's not a prior cause except for God. There's no part on the thing created explaining its being created.
All right. So let's get to this the most controversial part of the of this issue, and I think this is the one that's been causing people to rip each other's throats out. What is this?
You are not Israel.
Exactly. I am Italian.
Oh no! I'm just kidding.
Yes. But hey, we are Israel. We are the true Israel. We are the Hebrew Israelites.
No, we are the bride of Christ, actually, all of us. I believe that.
I know. But anyways, back in character. So this atonement doctrine, is it limited or is it unlimited?
I believe it's unlimited, that the atonement's really available for all who accept it, and that he has chosen all humanity. He says yes to all humanity. However, it is open to people accepting him, and so that doesn't make God impotent. That doesn't make God incompetent. That makes God not a villain. That's really what it does. It makes God put our punishment or reward a little bit in our hands in a way where God isn't some sort of ultimate being that has just created us as objects of wrath, that hasn't created us for eternal torment, but that God has created us to be in his image, and that we are called to become who we are created to be. And so I believe that the atonement is unlimited, that the only limitation is that what we put on it.
I see.
And if I can add to that, you can tell from the very beginning of Genesis, Genesis 3, where Adam fell. We have this idea of corporate solidarity. Everyone was in Adam, and when Adam sinned, that brought down just everything within him, all the seed that came out from his lineage. So in Adam, kind of we all sinned in a sense, and through one man's sin, all men are made sinners. Now, when you consider what happened when God was looking for Adam in the garden, we find that okay, hold on. So let me explain this real quick. So I'm at work. So anyway, when God actually placed grace on Adam, we know that grace was given to Adam because he was supposed to die, and that also he was given skin, and we know that this skin, we can deduce it that this skin came from a sacrifice, a lamb, because according to Revelation 13 verse 8, that the lamb was slain from the foundation of the world. So that's how we actually know that this was a lamb that died. So considering that Adam was given grace, you can also make a logical assertion that grace was given to every seed in Adam, because it was given to Adam, the representative of our race, and that is what I believe. That's why we can go down to John 3:16, where it clearly testifies that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
I know, Christian, you're saying you have something to say on the side. I guess with respect to the atonement, I guess the question I would ask anyone reading the Bible is, where is atonement stated to be merely potential? Where does Jesus ever speak of it as something that's not an achievement on his part, right? Or like in the Gospels, when he says that he has come to save his people, or it is finished when he was on the cross. these things seem to indicate, I think, that it was actual. So I wonder, for someone who would disagree with that point of view, where in Scripture there is the intimation that it's merely potential or an offering. And I think, oh no, Deidre, you're still here. Okay, everybody's
Yeah.
leaving.
Okay. Sorry, my dog's getting crazy. It gets kind of sketchy around here. Let's see. I think John 17:9 talks about that. Hang on, let me look it up.
Before y'all continue, I would just like to point something out. I have got to go get some pizza for my mom because she is a precious person to me. And then I gotta go take care of this guy who's been talking trash about us Calvinists. If you want to know who this person is, I will bring him up right now. Let me just do the thing. I'm trying to work with the internet because I'm too old of a person. Let's see here. What? Are you laughing at the mafioso? Anyways,
Kind of,
this
and my dog being pathetic. Hush.
this is the guy. This is the rat. Well,
Gotcha. Johnny.
well, he's a koala, so. But anyways, he's been talking trash because look, hyper Calvinists, do people choose to go to hell? Calvinists and Muslims play the dirty game of compatibilism. All
I
these things.
appreciate his zealotry in some ways. I do.
But however, since he's been talking too openly about this, I will tell him this. That I will go to his place, assassinate him, and then I will drop the tulip as a message to all those who see the spot. So I will give my fellow brother the mod controls, and since I trust you, Miss Dawn of Arminianism, I also give you mod control.
Yes.
So, and I don't trust Justin enough to give him the mod control, so you'll have to earn it. Anyways, so I will be back soon, so take care, and as the guy named Brett Keane would say, keep the zoo clean.
So this idea of potential atonement, that's an old John MacArthur trick, is it not? That if I remember right, that's where I first heard that idea. Oh, that's potential atonement. That wouldn't be actual real atonement. But if you actually look at the history of Judaism and that people are involved in sacrifice, that it was actually involved your doing as well. It wasn't just your participation was part of it. So it wasn't just that the lamb could sacrifice and the priest could sacrifice a lamb on your behalf, but that you would actually have to bring forth this sacrifice and be part of it. And so I don't think of it as a potential atonement, that God is somehow impotent and can't. Sorry, my husband's home, and so my dog's looking out the window like, why don't you let me outside? So anyway, it's not that I look at it as a potential atonement that Jesus just couldn't quite make it. Like his atonement just isn't good enough. Or the other extreme of universalism, kind of like this other like blanket thing where his atonement's totally good enough and you don't have to even do jack. But there's that the idea that again it does require some participation, and so yeah, I guess that would be called synergy. I usually dip away from the word synergy because it sounds like I'm torturing my dog. I promise I'm not. Because it tends to kind of get mixed in with some other ideas, so that's why I try to move out of that word. But I do think that it's not something that you can earn or work your way to, but I do think that it does require a little bit of your participation.
I don't know. I would say I'm not sure that answers that question in particular, but my response to that example would just be, I don't think that the Jews were saved by their sacrifices, and I think you would agree. I think that their sacrifices were merely a symbol for the upcoming sacrifice that Christ accomplished on the cross. So the Jews in the Old Testament were saved the same way Christians are today. They were saved by the atoning work of Christ. It's just they didn't have the cross as their symbol, so they used different symbols at the time. And their participation in, I guess, I don't know what the word is, symbology, their participation in the symbology or symbolizing or whatever of the cross doesn't negate the monergistic nature or the actual definite or limited nature of the atonement. It just it was just a different way of communicating the same reality. Right, like Justin was bringing up the point of the lamb who was slain before the foundations of the world. Like there, I would say that lamb is not a lamb. Like that's not an animal. That is referring to the work Jesus did on the cross, an event which, although it occurred within human history, stands as a reality that affects many events in time.
I have chaos. I gotta stay muted.
Your dog sounds like he's having a fit. Hey, Cody, what's up, man?
Hey, were we talking about limited atonement, or what's going on here?
I don't know. I chased Max out of the room. Max, I'm sorry. I was a jerk. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got all like snappy and I was like, can we use words that other people understand? And I think I made him leave. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was wondering why he left. I was like, why did Max leave?
I don't know. It could have been my fault. I was really short. But part of it is like I got invited to this thing and not knowing that I'm in sort of a mock debate suddenly.
So,
As usual,
I don't think
any interaction with Calvinists, it's always a mock debate. I swear to goodness.
so this is the Calvinist Mafia Club here.
Yeah,
Oh, come-
I guess. Like,
Come on now.
welcome,
What?
Molinist. How are you?
Well, I've got to make a fuse, right?
Molinist, come join the Arminian Club.
No, you guys, Jacob Arminius was a Molinist, so really, you need to join the Arminian Club.
No. Oh, please tell me you're not part of the group that tries to interpret every libertarian as a Molinist.
No, I haven't read the article yet, though, but I just know there's a guy who's arguing that Jacob Arminius was a Molinist, and that's how it got introduced into Protestant theology, but I haven't fully looked into it, so I'm just going to say that tentatively.
No. Yes, and Calvin was secretly a closet open theist. Right.
Well, Calvin didn't believe in limited atonement, at least from what the quotes I've read of Calvin, given how he interprets Acts 20:28 or John 3:16 and all that. So.
Oh, I assure you, John Calvin believed in limited atonement. There are many quotes from John Calvin which you could offer, which at face value and by themselves would seem like he disagrees with a lot of points of Calvinism. But if you read his Institutes, or if you put the quotes back into context, he's very clearly for all 5 points.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay, whatever. I mean, I haven't looked too much into it, but from the quotes I have read, though, like when he talks about like Matthew 20:28 or John 3:16, like he specifically talks about how it means everybody, and I don't know. I mean, maybe he has a way to reconcile that, though, but that just doesn't sound like limited atonement to me. But hey, what do I know?
Are we talking about Calvin?
John Calvin, yeah.
Yeah, that's limited
I mean,
atonement.
there's been a recent number of scholars who've been arguing that John Calvin may not have believed in limited atonement. So.
Well, he certainly loved Doomed from the Womb. Holy cow.
What?
Yeah, John Calvin believes that people are doomed from the womb.
Yeah, I mean that is the point of departure for like me and Maximus. We agree on most
not every
everything.
Calvin.
Well, yeah. So you can even be like a faux Calvinist. Like you can be an Amarildian or something.
I think John Piper. Okay, when we say doomed from the womb, you're talking about this idea that babies go to hell or something. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. That before you were born, that God, John Piper even echoes it too. Before you were born, God decided to save you or not.
Well, yeah. Well, I think John Piper says it could be true, but he also says something like that. Well, God could also have saved. So I think John Piper goes for more neutral ground. Like we don't know for
Well,
certain whether.
I'm just saying, like, if you're a Calvinist and you think that babies automatically go to heaven, then that, I would support abortion. What I'm trying to say, it doesn't make sense. Either God, when you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that God either allows you some free will, or God is the supervillain that does actually design you to be an object of wrath. And this idea that suddenly babies get a card because we can't be brutal and mean and cruel suddenly, even though God's brutal and mean and cruel. I'm sorry, but Calvinists, no matter how I spin it, God's brutal and mean and cruel with Calvinism, just straight up undoctored Calvinism is mean.
Well, even if all Calvinists
it's brutal.
Okay, but even if all Calvinists do believe that babies go to heaven, I don't see how that makes abortion moral, right? Like, why would that justify abortion?
It make antinatalism more moral.
And
that's why I'm an antinatalist.
See, Jimmy is an antinatalist as a result of a bad doctrine. I'm trying to tell you that Calvinism shows you that God creates people for the sole purpose of wrath. And that's not hyper Calvinism. That's any Calvinism. And so my point is that if babies suddenly automatically go to heaven, then you better not get to the age of accountability, whatever that is, because lucky you if you die young.
But hold on a second, though. In the Calvinist sense, though, if babies do go to heaven, that's because God has elected them. So even if that same person grew up, like, because God's chosen them, there's really, I mean, because if you're a Calvinist, you believe in perseverance of the saints, which means there's really nothing that can damage or thwart that, right? If you're a Calvinist.
So if you're a baby that dies in India, you're automatically going to heaven.
Wait, can I respond to that?
In a Hindu family and everything.
Can I respond to that as a Calvinist speaker?
Please go ahead.
Okay, I think there's like two different issues here. The first is the concept of double predestination, which is whether or not God merely elects some people to salvation, and that has nothing to do with the eternal destinies of sinners who do not end up in heaven in the end. Or does he elect from the beginning two classes of people, one that will end up in heaven and one that will end up in hell? Right? Does he purpose both sets of people? Right? And then the other question is, if the latter is the case, if God does elect some people to be damned and some people to be saved, how are babies related to that? How are things like abortions or miscarriages and stuff like that? How does that fit in?
Well, do some babies get damned before they ever even actively, consciously sin?
Right. So my response to that would be, to answer the first question, I would say as a Calvinist, I do think that, and I know you'll disagree, and I'm not trying to pretend like, well, I am just this smart person with all this, like, I'm not pretending to be more intelligent or that somebody who disagrees with me is stupid. But I am being honest when I say I think Scripture is emphatically clear that God does in fact predestine some people to go to heaven and some people to go to hell. That He is sovereign in controlling the destinies of everyone on this planet. And when the question then is asked, well, how do babies fit into the equation? I don't think it's any different than anyone else. I was, from a Calvinist perspective, I was predestined to be saved apart from any work that I've ever done, including choosing to follow Christ. My choice to follow Christ is a result, not a cause of God's choice to predestine me to go to heaven. And I think the same would be true of any baby that dies because of abortion or miscarriage or anything like that. So, I don't know that all of them are going to hell. I don't know that all of them are going to heaven, just like any other person. If I meet you off the street, I don't know what your eternal destiny is, which is why I care about evangelism. The same is true for a babe. Like, if babies go to heaven, it's because they're predestined. If they go to hell, it's because they're predestined to go there too. But I think that a baby has no better a chance, no worse a chance than anybody else, because it's still ultimately dependent on God. Does that make any sense?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. To me, like the idea that I don't know. Hey, what's up?
Hello. How are you, my love?
Nothing much. We're talking about Calvinism and Arminianism here, so.
Okay. You still in love with me?
No. I
Come
love you.
on.
I love you in a Jesus kind of way.
Yeah, I know. I love you too.
Can I ask you a question, Deidre? Because I didn't know what your position was on something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Vertical.
Vertical. Yes, always.
Right. Oh, you said is a baby damned before it even commits its first sin?
Yes.
So I was suspecting, but I didn't want to jump to any conclusions. Do you believe that people are sinners or become sinners because they sin, or are you in the perspective or lean more towards the camp of people sin because they're already sinners?
People sin because we have a sin nature.
I have a view, but I'll speak after Holly, if I may.
People sin because there's a sin nature that there is depravity in us, and that affects our ability to sin or not to sin. But the honest truth is that I don't see that babies can ever consciously sin. Like, it's just not. There's no way.
Well, shit, that saved me. I actually agree 100%.
Consciously or unconsciously. But...
Yeah. You just there's no ability, and so I do think that God, if God is at all moral, even by God's standards, knowing all time and outside of time and space, I can't imagine that God would hold a baby who hasn't chosen to do something evil or wrong to accountability for all eternity too. You know, let's pretend that I'm not an annihilationist and let's talk about all eternity. It doesn't make sense to me in any understanding of the gospel. It doesn't just jive with the character of God that I understand with Jesus. It might jive if I only thought that if I only read the Bible as Aaron Ra read it, and I thought that Yahweh was this warrior God only. Maybe it would jive with that.
Holly, you're enlightened.
I'm enlightened.
Yeah.
Sweet, I've been enlightened, guys.
No, well, whatever, but you are. That's your current state.
So, Jimmy, did you get a chance to watch Noah's video on presuppositionalism yet?
Hey, dude, that was a special moment.
Oh, well,
So I got 5 minutes and 8 seconds into it, and then I was invited to this hangout.
Oh, well, that's cool. All right. Yeah, no, I did send it to you on Friday. I just sent it to your Facebook. I take it. I guess you just haven't logged on then.
Oh,
so.
yeah. So, Cody, I wasn't asking you about that video, although I'm glad you sent that to me, too. I was asking about the video for the hangout itself.
Yeah, which I did just now put in the comment below the Google Plus thing I sent to you. So.
Oh, cool. Okay. Cool.
Just be aware though that after you left, I think we talked a little bit about presuppositionalism, but not for long. Then it sort of turned into a conversation about fossil fuels, and then after that, it sort of derailed into whatever. So.
Hey,
yeah.
Holly, Sugar loves you.
Okay, you tell Sugar that sometime Maybe
No,
I'll
no,
talk to her
no,
one on
no,
one.
no, no. You're a big girl. You can go and tell her yourself.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
Okay.
These guys aren't involved in the sugar drama, so
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
they should definitely stay out if all
Yeah,
possible.
no, that's all right. No. But I found that exciting news. More than this is boring.
Yeah, we're gonna be really boring.
Oh,
So
hang on. Is that me? Is that me?
Sugar drama.
Oh, gotta go.
all right, see ya.
See ya.
Wait, do you mean like the girl Sugar? Because I
Yeah.
did get a. She like circled me yesterday.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about it. I'm trying to let it die. There was massive drama, and you don't want to get involved in it. Trust me.
Okay. I don't like getting involved in massive drama. So.
No. And I'm actually not a main player or anything. I'm like somebody on the side that just kind of got. I don't know how I got sucked in. That's stupid. Anyway, moving on.
All right, what are we talking about?
I did get to talk to some
Rob
Mormons
derailed.
a few days ago, which was very interesting. Me and a few friends got to talk with a group of Mormons on campus, so that was fascinating. I hope I get to talk to them again.
Okay.
There's a few other points I wanted to raise.
So we have somebody new here, Justin. Justin is an Arminian, a Seventh-day Adventist, and I think there was a third thing that you said.
I guess I enjoy talking about timelessness, and
Do you think God's timeless?
yeah, I believe he's both timeless and temporal at the same time.
Well, wait a minute. Okay,
At the
because
same time.
my view is okay. I don't even know how that makes sense. Timeless and temporal at the same. That sounds like a contradiction, unless you mean like timeless without creation and temporal since creation, because that'd be my view. Unless that's what you mean.
No, I believe that God is, as he's timeless, but by necessity because of the fact that he was before time, or before the beginning, which means he's timeless, and he's also temporal because he can actually be in both places at the same time, and
Okay.
since he's above time, he can go in time anytime he wants. So I mean, that's just
Are you a what are you a B theorist? Do you think the tense do you hold to the tenseless theory of time then? Because
yeah, that the time, the future, past, present, the future and the past exist as just like the present to God.
right, yeah, that it all exists as a big four-dimensional block. Okay, well that explains it.
Yeah, so it makes perfect sense to me considering how when David he asked God for forgiveness, he was forgiven. Now, the Bible tells us that there's nothing, all sin is forgiven by blood. So there's no remission of sin without the shedding of blood. And in order for David to be literally forgiven, some blood had to be shed. Now, Jesus was not sacrificed yet until 31 AD. So, in order for him to be actually forgiven by actual blood, God must have been taking blood from an actual future that was existing to actually forgive David, and that makes philosophical sense to me, considering there was a future in which God already gained the victory, and was using that future to actually give grace to all those who were in the past, and also the future as well. Make sense?
Yeah, no, I understand the view.
My question as a Calvinist would be, what causes the reality of this time to exist?
Well, it would definitely be God. Now, the mystery is, just for me, it's all about moving the puzzles that can be moved and leaving the parts that cannot be moved. Just leave it as so, and just leave it as that. So, to me, answering that question, like, how did God create the beginning in a timeless realm where there is no before and after, is just like asking how much or when did God leave this place or that place when he's still there. There's no
Right.
there's no part in the universe where he's less of or more at. It's just you just have to accept it for what it is.
Sure, but I guess that's my question is not so much as to how the transcendence of God relates to the immanence of God, or how the essential aseity, immutability, and timelessness, and all these properties that are private to God outside of creation relate to his condescension and entrance into creation. But rather, what I'm asking is, what causes all of this time to exist? What causes all of these events to exist? And if in fact God does, that would include the events of every single human choice that ever comes into existence. And if that's the case, then theistic determinism, which Calvinists hold to, would be true.
I see how that makes sense. However, I think the missing component in that is the idea that God can actually create a space in which he himself doesn't create the thing or the actions. So, for example, we believe that God created all things, and we have to accept that as a hyperbole by necessity, considering that God doesn't create himself, and we don't believe that God creates sin. So there's things that he does not create, and one of those things, I believe, another thing is that he does not create our choices. So what he can do is literally make enough space in our minds, our hearts, to actually make choices within the options that we have, while everything else is being sustained outside of that realm. So I guess it's like having a fishbowl, being supported by everything else, but the fish inside the bowl is free to roam anywhere it wants. Of course, it's being upheld by the table and the house and all these different things, but the fish is still able to move within its own bowl. So the same way, we as creatures who can choose, our minds can actually choose what we want without literally being caused by God. Does that make sense in some way?
I think I understand your point of view. It would be called so there is occasionalism, concurrentism, and then the weakest view, which I think is what you're communicating, is called mere continuationism, which is the idea that God's sort of the first cause, and he sovereignly sort of gives permission to everything to exist and do whatever it does, but he doesn't have to cause explicit events in time. He just kind of lets them unfold by themselves. Where
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What did I miss while I was gone?
Rob Beasley.
Rob Beasley? Did he just come in here?
Yeah, he told me I was enlightened and left.
Well, I don't know why that guy was in here, because I made a video about him a while back. Well, by a while back, I mean 2 days ago. Anyways.
I don't know either, but it was kind of funny.
Interesting. Anyways. So, who is this person that's entered? Who are you, Mr. Cody?
Who disturbs my slumber?
Now, I was thinking Aladdin for a second.
He's
Cave
possessed.
of Wonders.
He's possessed by a demon. Jimmy, get the baptism water.
Cody is the Cave of Wonders.
What the lamp?
Remember, boy, first touch me the lamp, and then you shall have your reward.
Arabian Nights.
I love that movie so much. I'm sorry to derail everything like that, but
No, this was originally supposed to just be like a humorous yet theological kind of thing, and I think we still maintain that. I mean, the only reason I did this thing was because the whole Johnny being on a rampage on the Calvinism thing. It's been frustrating some people. I
Who's
saw it, Johnny KZJ.
I know, I was told this wasn't serious mode, and then people got all flat out serious mode, and then I got all, like, testy, and I didn't mean to hurt Max's feelings, and I made Max leave. I'm sorry, Max, I love you, Max, come back!
Hold on a second.
Wait, hold on, wait. Are you thinking that because he said something, Dietrich? Because I didn't
know, he just left, and I was like, oh, did I do this?
I get the sense that wasn't why he leaves, because usually he's very good at not getting his feelings hurt, and I think he knows you better than to think that you
I was gonna say, like, I love Max, so I don't want to drive him away.
Yeah,
So
I think he knows that about you.
So we have another person in here by the name of Rob Beasley.
Rob Beasley's in the house. Everybody give him applause.
Hold on a second.
Hello, who loves you?
Jesus.
Hey guys, we outnumber the Calvinists.
No.
Not necessarily.
No.
We do outnumber the Calvinists.
Deidre, no.
Anyway, Rob, what's up?
Who loves you?
Rob loves me?
Yes, that's right.
What's up,
But
Rob?
Jesus loves her, and that's more important.
No. It's all the same love. And I'm actually almost a mirror copy of what Jesus was.
Oh, really? So you've never sinned before?
Oh, no, I did. But then I became enlightened, and now I'm in the perfect state.
No, if you sinned, you have sinned against God, so therefore...
No, you guys don't know what
sin.
God is. You don't know what God... You guys don't know what God is. I do.
Oh, so if I read the Bible, I don't understand what God is?
Correct.
So the Bible's false?
Correct.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we have the world's first heretic in this hangout. Ladies and gentlemen.
Getting those applause sound. Who's making those applause sound effects like that?
It's the Google Hangout effect thing. So, Rob, enlighten us, because we are the Calvinist and Arminian Mafia, and we both end up dealing with this kind of stuff in our positions.
I prefer to be called part of the mod squad, thank you.
Okay, Mod Squad. So what do you have to offer us that is not of the Bible?
Enlightenment.
All right, enlighten us, because we believe the Bible enlightens us.
Well, nah, it's wrong, I'm afraid. Okay. So the only accurate expression of God came from Jesus, the real Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And his definition is simply this. Well, he said that you had to interpret it, right? And so I've done that work. What it is, it's really not that complex. Who knows about computers? Anyone?
I mean, that's a broad statement, but I guess I understand a little bit about how computers work.
I'm no expert, but I like to think that I understand the basics.
Yeah. Well, and that's a very good comment, because it's really about the basics. So the basics in computing is a switch, an on and off state, right? True, false. Do you agree?
Sure.
I guess what you're saying is that the language of many computers is not biconditional. What's it called? Binary.
Yeah, binaries in computing, right? It all started with the concept of an on-off switch, and then it was built upon that foundation. So in other words...
You would agree that there are computers that use tertiary logic, for example, right?
No, not interested in that, because all that's still got underneath it all that binary condition.
I would agree that reality, when we're talking about propositions and whether they're true or false, that's ultimately binary.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Good. Great. Now, what you may not know is that that's the exact same state for humans. At the base level of, everything, so to understand everything, is a binary condition. Good, evil, on, off, true, false. So what that means at the, from the structural level is that we have two survival instincts in humans. And it doesn't matter what sort of human you are, whether you're homosexual, bisexual, any sexual, You know, whether you're black, white, yellow, pink, green, blue, every human born has this pattern of two survival instincts. One of those survival instincts is God. And Jesus taught, the real Jesus, taught that the living Father was within us and also outside of us. So he was of the position that God is nature, the fabric of the design. And so that's that. Now the other side of the equation, so one side is God, and it is the love thy neighbour golden principle, and I can explain that explicitly. The other survival instinct is for the self, and it's the self that creates the lies and egos, and that's basically the baseline for all evil. Yeah. So there you have evil, good, evil, good.
All right.
So that's it.
And
That's it.
my case, John chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
That's true. That's a true statement, and actually it has an implication in a phenomenon called sonoluminescence.
Yes, but you just said that the book that it came from is false.
What?
You said the Bible isn't true, correct?
Oh, no, it's got the... So what happened historically, this is the frigging problem with religion. This is why we're all screwed up by... There's a political aspect, right, which is no good. That's not good at all. And then there's the true teaching. So they're both together become the religious doctrine. I'm able to split them apart, and I know exactly when something's spiritually accurate and following Jesus' teaching, and I know when something's... Oh, and it's not only Jesus. You've got to go back through history. You've got the Nazarites and the Torah. They're sort of valid. But then you've got this political overlay through history, and I can point out exactly what those events were that brought this political influence. And, you know, to understand true spirituality, you've got to be able to strip that back. Holy.
So is there any parts of the Jesus' teachings in the New Testament of the Gospels that are true?
Right, so the absolute complete set of Jesus' teaching is a thing called the Gospel of Thomas. But it's actually, that's a misnomer. It's actually the Gospel of Jesus. It was written by Thomas. It's a collection of 114 sayings. I'm a master in that. You take out, and this is an absolute fact, 61 of those sayings in that collection were used by the Roman Empire to create the the New Testament. So they're in there, but they've been bastardized. They don't have the right spiritual. Because see, spirituality is really simple at the end of the day. It's absolutely simple.
But here's the thing, though. The Gospel of Thomas was not only a Gnostic writing, it is only considered a historical document, at least concerning who Jesus is, but as far as canonized Holy Scripture, it is not one of the 66 holy canonized, written, inspired Word of God. This writing was not inspired by the Holy Spirit.
No, it is.
It also wasn't. Wait, Rob. When was the Gospel of Thomas written?
I think it's about 50 AD. Well, there's two camps, right?
What is your evidence?
Hang on, Cody, hang on. There's two camps, 50 AD and about 140 AD, I think. I sit with the 50 AD camp.
Well, what's your evidence for that?
Well, okay, I'll get it for you now if you like.
Right.
And that's a good question, Cody. You must always see. Jesus said, "Seek until you find," because it makes sense. You've got to be the one to be enlightened. So you've got to find that truth for yourself. And if you don't want to, well, that's your fucking problem. Now, hey, Holly.
What's up?
I miss you.
I'm around.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I really enjoyed our chat. I really did.
I'm good. I'm glad.
Well, what about you? Did you enjoy it?
I thought it was probably our most productive chat that we've had.
Oh, geez, you're hard work, girl.
Well, you know, the best sort of love is the love that is precisely given.
Yeah, that's true. Can't argue with that. Hey, Holly, I've learned something else out.
What's that?
Maybe, you know, privately. I've learned something else which is interesting. Okay, here we go.
Alright.
Yeah, so get rid of that.
And the one thing I would like to ask of Rob is to not use profanity on here. We are in a Christian station, so we would like to keep it family friendly for all audiences if possible.
Nah, fuck that.
I'm serious.
I am too. But I'll
No.
actually, now that I've had my fun, I'll respect your request. Now, hang on. Well, I'll try to. Mate, I'm driving for world peace, and I'm going to do it lightning quick.
And world peace seems to be a good sign that the Illuminati or the end times is near as well.
Oh, well, you can believe that. But the Illuminati, I think, are pretty bad dudes. I think they might have killed me, actually.
Do you think they may have killed you, like, past tense?
Yeah, cancer. No, cancer. Yeah, I think so. I'll have the reports when I get back to the docks this week.
All right.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Now, and see, that's the other thing. You know, when you're enlightened, you're not afraid of death. Jesus was a Nazarite warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Bravest person on the earth. Now, ever.
Well, I wouldn't say he's a man.
Yes, he is a man.
He's
absolutely.
God. He's God. No. He's part of the triune.
Yeah, but I told you what God is. God's within.
Yeah, well, he's part of the God. He's part of the Godhead, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
I'm not wrong.
And neither am I, because I go by the Bible, and the Bible's not wrong.
Oh, Jesus, you and I should sit down, and I'll show you every place it's wrong. Now, you heard of the Book of Daniel?
I have heard of the Book of Daniel, and I've seen that video of yours about it, and I know several Old Testament scholars that have, over the centuries, have refuted your claims. Well, and yours is kind of an emotional thing because if it's true, then Islam is true too.
I've got the backing of Yale University.
And these people probably have more than that.
No, I'll bet you they don't. I'll bet you they're half-baked scholars.
I'll bet you have one university under your belt. Some of these people have 2 or 3 because they've been going to bachelor's classes.
I'm at genius level. When you're enlightened, you're up with Albert Einstein.
You know who also said he was enlightened?
Who?
Charles Manson.
Oh, no, he's fucking bad.
Oh, okay, that's...
I'm
sorry, Rob, but that's...
What?
That's quite appropriate.
What's that? Sorry, say that again.
The bald assertion that you have been enlightened carries no intellectual weight whatsoever.
Oh, hang on. I wrote a book.
Yeah, and the Muslims claim they wrote a book, and they claim they were enlightened.
Well, no, you're right there. I agree with you. That religion. Now I'm going to cancel that religion. That's fucking finished.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I swore. I apologize.
I'll let it go.
Anyway, hang on. I'm moving quick here. I just want to... Righto, so here, can you see that there? And that, where are we? You know about multiple attestation?
Multiple
right, so here's the dates.
I know what multiple attestation means.
Yeah, okay. Now, data composition, right? Here it says it. The early camp. Scholars generally fall into 2 main camps. An early camp following a date, with the core being between the years 50 to 100. Well, you know, it ranges, but I think it's closer to 50. Before or approximately contemporary with composition to the canonical Gospels. and a late camp favouring a date in the 2nd century after composition of the canonical Gospels. Now, there's a thing called Q-source theory. Who's heard that? Can that guy go away? Or I suppose Christians will keep him in here.
We have a few different mods, so if anybody's rude or crazy, they're gonna get
I'm
muted.
just going to.
And we got
Sorry.
Russ in the room.
Yeah,
Sorry,
this guy Benner, he's a fruitcake. Absolute. He hounds me. He's a stalker.
Right. But Benna, we're going to ask you to remain silent for at least while Rob's in the room. But don't worry, you'll get your piece, because we know we're looking at you and you're trapped in that little
Not
space.
a problem.
All right.
He's stuck in the porthole.
Yes.
Anyway, so who's heard of Q-source theory? Q-source theory?
Cody said he did.
Are you talking about the Q, the Q source? The idea? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
I also know what that is.
Okay, well, here's my explanation. Q-source. Fundamentally, it's a position that was developed 100 years before the Gospel of Thomas had been rediscovered after being buried for, I don't know, 1700 years. And what they were doing is they were trying to explain some anomalies between the Gospels, the Synoptic Gospels. And the conclusion or the theory says that there is a Jesus sayings list, and that was used as base to construct these Synoptic Gospels. Well, if you actually look at, and I kind of know that the Synoptic Gospels were written by the Romans in 70 AD.
Whoa.
So it's sort of, yeah. Sorry.
Whoa! Wait. You think the Synoptic Gospels were written by the Romans in 70 AD?
Yeah, specifically Emperor Nerva, or he wasn't emperor at the time that he was the architect. He led a team of writers that put those together, the works of Josephus, and it was a response to the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD.
Why do you think that exactly?
Research.
Well,
and
yeah,
a brilliant mind.
Could you maybe
a brilliant mind.
Okay, fine. Could you maybe sort of, I don't know, summarize maybe what your argument is for that claim?
Could I offer you my book and say go buy it for $3?
On the Kindle probably, but according to the news, if you also want the paperback, it's $90 apparently.
Oh no, don't fucking do that. That wasn't my fault. That was the bloody publishers. I know I argued against them, but they wouldn't listen to me. So that's not my fault. They fucking blame me for that.
All right, I will ask one.
Now that I didn't realise at the time, but the actual title, which sort of came to me one day, is actually the fundamental question when you're talking about spirituality. And I structured it correctly because God is good. Right? The God concept is about everything good about humans. Hey, Holly.
Yeah?
You feel good about me?
I mean, I don't feel bad about you.
Come on. Get off the bloody bench.
I'm such a neutral person, what can I tell you?
Yeah, that's true.
What's that?
That's true. She is pretty much a neutral person.
Oh, look, I understand the sexuality thing.
Really?
Holly, that's actually what
Holly,
what do you mean?
That sexuality. So Holly, how do you feel about me?
I think we're cool.
Do we stay on topic?
Get off the fence.
Can we get back on topic?
No,
Yeah.
I want to talk to Holly because I love her.
Well, we'll do that whenever we're off air, but until then, we'll just focus on it.
Feel free to message her in private.
Get comfortable with loving your neighbour. This is the way to live.
And we're doing that, but right now we have an objective with what we're doing for this particular discussion.
Okay. Now, so that's it. That book explains my position, And for $4 you'll get enlightenment. You'll get to know exactly what God is. You'll know the true Jesus. You know, so it's pretty good value for $4.
Alright, so let me get this straight.
Yeah.
For us to learn the truth, we have to purchase something from you, which is a book that you wrote.
Yes.
Which I see is no different than what any cult leader has done, such as Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons.
Well, hey, look, fair enough. I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion, so you decide.
I've
It's always
seen
a personal
I've
choice.
seen the thing, though. I've seen where you mention the Gospel of Thomas, and as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned, that is not canonized Holy Scripture. It has no meaning
Alright.
to a
Alright.
holy book.
No worries. Hey, Holly.
Yeah. What's up?
Who do you love?
I love Jesus.
And
My fellow man.
and
And Jimmy Stevens.
and
I'm feeling a bit ill.
Aw, yay!
And Benna. And Benna Berry.
and
And Christian Anarchist.
and
And Lindsay Lou.
and
And Cody.
and
And Rob.
thank you, darling. She's such a wonderful person. I really do like her a lot. Well, no, I love her. Now, what's that? Oh, mate. Anyway, yep. So that's it. Sorry. So I've answered your question, I hope.
Can anybody hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Did you want to say something, Russ?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Rob Beasley what his earliest historical attestation that's extra biblical for the Gospel of Thomas is, and if so, what century is that?
First century, and it was 50 AD. I think we covered that.
50 AD. What? Okay, do you have a citation for this 50 AD source?
The scholarship. So there's two camps, early and late. So I'm with the early.
Oh, okay, so, well, I'm not asking about scholarship. I'm asking you, what's your source? There are lots of scholars with lots of different sources. Right?
The Gospel of Thomas itself. The Gospel of Thomas itself.
Okay, so the Gospel of Thomas is its own source?
Yeah, because if you read it, it's sort of like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that Einstein came up with the formula E equals mc squared, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and so multiple attestation in his time said he was the guy that actually came up with the formula.
No, that wouldn't be attestation. That would be self-attestation, right? I asked you for.
No, not him. No, people of that era. If you went up to them and you said, "Hey, Albert Einstein, was he the one that did E equals mc squared?" You know, you could go to probably hundreds of people.
That's right.
And they'd all say, yeah, it was Albert. Yeah, that was Albert that did that. So that's multiple attestation.
No.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. What I'm asking you for.
Well, explain why it isn't. Explain why it isn't.
Sure. Sure. When we speak of independent attestation, for example, if somebody asked me, how do we know that Paul wrote the book of Ephesians? What I would point out is that the early church fathers, some early church fathers, had been citing it. That would be independent attestation. Even though they were reading what he said, they're saying what he said was veridical. Well, that's the same thing that I'm trying to ask you for with regard to the Gospel of Thomas, which is
what you're trying to do is frame it. What you're trying to do. Hang on.
Rob,
what you're trying to do.
Finish, please.
No. What you're trying to do is frame the question.
Mm-hmm.
Let him finish, Rob.
All I'm asking for is your earliest historical source.
Yeah. Sorry,
your
go ahead.
earliest historical source that quotes from it, even. That's all.
Nah, doesn't exist.
Yeah, so it's probably 3rd century then, Bob.
No. The scholars say either 450 through 100 AD or 140 AD. That's all they say.
But why do they say that?
Why do they put those dates exactly?
Yeah.
What?
Why do they say that though? Like that's what we're asking. We're asking
because
what are
they because they don't fucking know. They're not sure.
But then if they're not sure,
Right.
then is it really accurate then to say, especially with the kind of confidence you're saying, that it was written in, what was it, 58 AD? I mean, if they don't
Yeah.
know, then that seems kind of shaky foundations, if you know what I mean.
No, it's not. No, it's not at all. I've got plenty of stuff to talk about that. You want to hear it?
But
You want to hear it?
well,
What I want to hear is early
You want to hear it?
first
You want to hear it?
century.
You want to
Here's what
hear
I
it?
want to hear. I want to hear early first
No,
century
you can't
quotations of the
have. You
Gospel of
can't have a
Thomas.
lie. I can't tell you a lie. All right. Just to keep your fucking ideas in your head happy. I just can't do it.
Okay.
I've got to
Okay.
give you the truth. I've got to give you the truth.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, do you want me to go ahead?
Well, what I'm asking for is the earliest source that quotes from the Gospel of Thomas. That's what we should be looking for.
Holy. You're playful.
I put it in mid-range. You're cool. You're cool.
Oh, I know I'm cool.
So wait, do we have a source, an early like a first century or first or second century source maybe that quotes from the Gospel of Thomas? Because I know the early church fathers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that source then?
It's the fuck. I didn't think of that. Good one. Now it is the Synoptic Gospels.
Oh, so they came
With the
first.
Synoptic Gospels, they quote from the Gospel of Thomas.
Yes, correct. In that order.
Really? So
Yes.
could you cite a passage maybe from one of the Synoptic Gospels?
Yep, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. Where is that?
Talk amongst yourself while I get it. Have you not noticed how quickly my mind works? No. How quickly I attest information? Oh, far away. Now, I'm not trying to fucking brag, but it's just trying to get a point across to you, fellows and
Rob,
ladies.
there are people whose intelligence would surpass the intelligence of a person created by the combination of every mind in this room, and to him I would not expect that his intelligence is a sufficient reason to take what he says seriously in and of itself.
Okay, you guys don't understand what intelligence is. May I explain that, and then I'll go back to the other point.
Well, wait a minute here. I don't think that's really relevant though. Could we just go back to like the initial question, like where in the Synoptic Gospel?
Now, cognitive dissonance alert. Cognitive dissonance alert, and I'm a master. Okay, hang on. I'll get it.
Just waiting for the earliest.
Yeah. Well, talk amongst yourself while I get it. It might take a little bit of finding, but
Yeah, it's going to take you a long time because it's a 3rd century document. I already know.
No, I got it.
All right.
It's not a 3rd century document. That's a lie. Liar, pants on fire.
What form of writing is the Gospel of Thomas in? Is it uncial?
No, that doesn't fucking matter. Jesus Christ, you idiots.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters, the only thing that matters in assessing a spiritual document is its authenticity to what the spiritual reality is. The Gospel of Thomas is a 100% accurate account of human spirituality. And that's the measure of its success. Just, because it's written in fucking blue ink or whatever. Oh, I swore again, sorry.
No, he was it's not a illegitimate question. It's a legitimate question.
It is a fucking idiot's question.
All right, one more time that I hear a swear word, I am going to kick you out. I am not.
Okay, well, that's all right. Do you want me to go now?
But wait, so for example,
all right, I'll go. Sorry.
Well, wait.
Fuck you.
Run off scared, Rob.
Hey, what's that?
I mean, what do we do with the fact that the Gospel of Thomas is written in Syriac languages?
Nothing. Wipe your bum with it. It's
you just ignore it, right?
Well, hey, I'll put it to you this way, right? Does it matter what Einstein's theory is written on or what fucking language it's in?
Well, it does, yeah.
I am not having that on here. I'm not having that sort of... I can handle a couple, at least some atheists will be respectful, but if someone just like that just absolutely keeps going on like that, I am not having that on here.
Yeah,
I
and,
already
and the
had to
funny
deal
thing
with it
is,
several times.
the funny thing is the hypocrisy of someone who preaches love and then doesn't even have enough respect for another person to let them finish their sentences, their arguments, and has to throw swear words at them all the time. So
Did you notice how in one way he asked that question here, and then he kept saying, I don't know, or whatever, and then I asked the exact same question, and then,
Yep.
oh, yeah, that makes sense. Here,
And
let me
whenever
look that.
and whenever he was trying to think of something to say, he would then go, hey Holly, do you love me?
Okay, let's stop that. That part was very uncomfortable,
It was
okay?
making me uncomfortable. Let's not talk about that part. I don't know
Yeah,
how to
that
respond
was
to
that
that.
was
I'm
absolutely
not uncomfortable with saying I love you all in a non-prison way.
exactly
I love you in a non-rapey way, guys.
Russ,
exactly.
you know I love you in that prison way, though. You know.
What I find surprising is that you guys spent that much time talking to Rob Beasley.
I have patience, but sometimes my patience can wear thin.
I mean, okay. I would. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dina.
No, I was saying I think that's a record that he's been in a room with a room that he wasn't controlling for that amount of time.
Yeah, for the most part, that was pretty cordial for the most part. It's just a little bit of swearing peppered in, but for the most part, I thought it was overall cordial. This is actually pretty good, because usually other interactions have been less cordial, so.
I mean, I'd be intimidated too if I mean, I think Cody, you get away with it because, frankly, I think atheists come in here that don't know you as well. But if I had to try to argue against Knight about or Russ about something historical, that I would be intimidated too. Like,
Wait, what do I get away with exactly?
I'm saying I think that the explanation for Rob Beasley's answering the questions that were asked by you, but which same questions were asked by Russ that went unanswered, is because Russ is well known for defending historical veracity of especially the New Testament, right? The Bible as a whole, but especially the New Testament, and of working with historical methodology and all those sorts of things related there. But like, I don't. You don't really do your own show or anything, right?
Not really. I don't have my own show, but
You're
I
kind
do
of
know
like
a
this.
thing.
Oh no, I'm not saying you don't, but I mean saying that's where you get away with it. Like you have the same knowledge, but you're kind of just this ninja that comes out of nowhere, and it's like, oh.
Alright, hold on.
I'm just the new guy, that little hobo guy sitting over in the corner.
Nothing wrong with being incognito.
Right. I need to cut in.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help overhear your conversation, but it seems there's not a lot of things that make sense of what you're saying. And
hold on. I need to cut in here because I need
Cody,
to end the show.
you're gonna have.
Hold on, Russ.
You're both gonna have to say. I'm gonna take over this room right now, and you're both gonna have to say you love Deidre, okay?
You love me. You love me, Jimmy. Jimmy, do you love me?
Ich liebe dich.
I love you.
Oh, Jimmy loves me.
Ich liebe dich.
Alright, I'm gonna end the show here. This was an interesting thing. We got the first part was what the title goes. The second half, well, it was Rob Beasley, ladies and gentlemen.
Rob Beasley, everyone, give him a hand.
Yeah, and if you've seen my video on him, you know that I really do not appreciate the guy. So, anyways, until then, Shalom Aleichem.